Now that you've got some of the basic skills of SketchUp under your belt, we're going to embark on an actual project. We'll start drawing this little building, little cabin, up on the screen here at the moment. Don't worry too much about the elevation views or anything at the moment. We'll just have a quick look at the plan view. So if I just zoom in a bit, this area. Okay, so this is the plan view of a little cabin that we'll start modelling, a simple little building, and along the way we'll learn lots more about SketchUp as we create this little building. Basically, the building is laid out on a grid system. Between each grid is 3.6 meters in the horizontal direction and 6.15 meters in the vertical direction here to set out the basic grid structure of the building. The reasons for those dimensions are as I envisage using something like a sheet product for the facade across the front, which would come in normally 1.2 meter wide sheets. So that's why the multiple of 1.2 creates 3.6. We'll end up having no wastage on site, or we'll minimise the wastage on site, which is a very sustainable way of thinking. Likewise, along the gabled end of the building, I'm envisaging using something like vertically orientated corrugated steel, zinc aluminum or Colorbond corrugated steel. And if you care to sort of sit down and work out the modules that steel becomes available in, you'll soon see that a 6.15 metre width of the building also suits that with no cutting or sheet wasting. So with this bit of a view in mind, we'll open up SketchUp and start laying a few things out. Now I've just got a blank brand new drawing open at the moment here in SketchUp. What I'm going to do before anything else is introduce you to one more SketchUp command before we go any further, and that is the concept of layers. Up the top here you'll see that we've got a drop down text box which allows us to drop down and select a number of different layers. At the moment you've only got one layer created. By default, when SketchUp opens up, it has a layer called layer 0, and so far we've just been drawing on layer 0. Layers is just a way of being able to segregate different parts, different components within your drawing into logical groups, so that you can then decide whether to display those layers or turn those layers on and off. To create some more layers, I'll get you all to go to the Layer Manager tool, which is just beside the layer text box. Open up the Layer Manager tool, and there's a plus sign up the top there. If you click the plus sign, you've created a brand new layer. I'm going to create a layer called Floor. I'm going to hit the plus sign again and create another layer of Walls, or we'll call it just singular wall. We'll need another layer called Roof. I might want another layer called Posts, or Post, Roof, Post. What other layers might I want? That might be enough for us to just get started at this stage. So we can close that dialog box now. We've created all those different layers there. Now you might see in the layer drop down text box at the moment we've still got layer 0 selected. Now there's a couple of different ways where that drop down box will apply to different things at the moment. So it applies differently as if you're actually selected an object or ready to draw an object. So just make sure we are ready to draw an object. Make sure you go up to the select tool up here and click on the select tool. So that is, and because that select tool there is we're not in the middle of any other command, make sure you don't have anything selected, so you haven't picked on anything at the moment, and the current layer that you're about to draw on will be displayed in the text box. And if you drop that text box down now and change the current layer to Floor, you'll notice that as we're about to draw now, we'll be drawing on the floor layer. I'll just back up a little bit more because there's something else I wanted to do before we go to the floor layer. So just drop down the drop down box for the layer and set layer 0 again. So we're back to where we were with layer 0. I want to set out some construction lines at the moment, and I'm going to use layer 0, the one that is set up automatically by SketchUp. I'm going to use layer 0 for all of my construction type things that aren't going to form part of the final building, but I still need to create them along the way as construction objects. If you'd like to think about this in construction terms of a builder building a building, this could be where all the string lines are set out. To create to line up all the walls with. So if I was going to set up some string lines to start with, bearing in mind we remembered there was 3.6 metre grids that we were going to work with. The way to set up those construction lines is, here's another new tool for you. It's a tape measure tool. You can sort of see the parallels that's being drawn to a builder actually on site. We've got some tools that actually look like the tools a builder would use. Tape measure tool. So let's go and pick up the tape measure. Now if you click along the green axis, not from the origin point, that creates something slightly different, click along an edge of the green axis. It can either be back where it be solid green or where it turns into dashed green, doesn't really matter, but just hook your tape measure over the end of that green axis and pull it away, and you'll see by default you'll be pulling away in the red axis direction. So that's really great. So start to pull away in the red axis direction, make sure it is going in the red axis direction, and type 3600. Press enter. That will draw a construction line for you 3.6 metres away from that string line, away from that green axis. Do that again another 2 times, 3600, and again. Now what we've got then is our 3 bays of the building. However, the green axis later on we won't be able to sort of draw along that green axis, so what I want to do is do another construction line right on top of that green axis. So all I've got to do is click the green axis once again, pull away, but as I pull away, when I'm about to type a number, the number I'm going to type will be 0, and then press enter. So that has drawn another dashed construction line for me right on top of the green axis because I entered a distance of 0. Now the other dimension that we wanted to put in from the red axis back in that direction was 6150, and press enter. That gets us the vertical distance of the building in plan, and once again I'm going to do the same thing off the red axis. I'm going to pull away from the red axis and type 0. So I've now got a construction line right on top of the red axis and the green axis. Don't worry about the carport that's going outside or the veranda that's going outside just for now. Let's leave it simply laid out like that. So if you imagine looking at this on site, that would be something similar to what a builder may have set up with his profiles and drawing string lines from the profiles, so he can now build the walls, the floors, the footings and other building components with reference to that grid layout, if you like. And you'll notice they've all gone on layer 0. If you ever later, let's all try this for the moment and we'll come back again, go up to your Layer Dialogues Manager button beside the drop down text box, click on it and change your current layer now to floor. You change your current layer in this dialog box by changing the radio button up the left there, clicking in there, so that now floor has got the solid dot next to it. That means it is the current layer. Now that you've changed that to be the current layer, you can actually turn any of the other layers off so that they're not visible. At the moment you'll see layer 0 has a checkbox next to where it is underneath visible. So if we uncheck that for the moment, you can see on your screen that layer 0, where we drew all of those string lines if you like, are now not visible. So you can see how you can control the visibility of items that you might construct. We need that layer 0 turned on at the moment for those construction lines, so click on the checkbox again before you then close the layer dialog box. And you'll notice you're now in the current layer that you're about to create entities in is the little floor layer.